always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Hello and welcome to GSMC Entertainment Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Cynthia, and happy Monday. I don't really know how I want to start off this podcast, as I'm sure most of you have already received the news, and you guys could tell by the title of today's episode. I'm kind of like in a somber mood. I'm not as cheery and happy as I normally am, and I'm sure many of you also feel the same way. And unless you live under a rock, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Yesterday morning, something extremely tragic and shocking happened. I was at the LA Fit Expo over the weekend. I was at the Los Angeles Convention Center, and I noticed that everybody was wearing Lakers jerseys, and specifically Kobe Bryant's jerseys. And it was a lot more than normal. And I started to question why there were so many guests at the convention center wearing his jersey. And that's when I overheard someone who came up to our booth and mentioned Kobe Bryant passed away. And again, I'm in the middle of working at the expo, and I overheard that, and I was like, what? Like, no, I didn't believe it. And I check my phone, and I see multiple messages from my friends. I see my mom texted me. I see my boyfriend texted me, all asking me, telling me if I've heard of the tragic news of Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, okay, what? And then that's when I found out, in the middle of working at this convention center where I'm supposed to be happy and in a good mood and a cheerful mood, that Kobe Bryant had passed. And I still can't believe it, and I'm still shook. And that's how I honestly didn't even know how I wanted to start off this podcast. 'Cause I'm like, hey, I feel like everyone's still kind of in that somber mood today. And I know that totally, when I found that out, it just affected my mood completely. I went a complete 180. I was like, whoa, the world kind of stopped for a second. I feel like a lot of you are going to remember exactly the time and place, what you were doing, where you were at when you found out this tragic news. Sunday morning, yesterday, I seriously think the whole world stopped when they found this out, that this NBA legend, Kobe Bryant, and his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi Bryant, passed away in a fatal helicopter crash. I mean, the whole world is mourning his death, and I know we're all kind of in the same boat. You don't even have to be a basketball fan or a sports fan. He was a superstar. Everybody knew who Kobe Bryant was. You hear the name Kobe, you already know who he was, and he was a very respected man. Had really great family values. He was a family man, and that's what's just even more respectable, even after he retired, his post-basketball life and all the amazing work he was doing. So I'm still shook, and I don't know if you guys can even tell by how shaky my voice was. How shaky my voice is currently. I usually never get too connected with a celebrity's death or a death, I never feel too sad over a death about a person who I never knew personally. Even when Michael Jackson passed, I was sad. Of course, it's always, not good news when someone has passed away, but I didn't feel that deep connection to him, and I didn't really look up to him in that way, maybe in that sense. So I wasn't too sad. And this is the first celebrity's death, if you will, where I actually had I got teary-eyed, and like I feel like my heart's so heavy, and it's so hard for me to even talk about this right now because it's just like such a terrible like story and such like a terrible ending to such an amazing human being. And Kobe Bryant was only 41 years old, you guys. Like, he's still young and he still had so much work ahead of him. I feel like his career was still, I mean, he's been peaking, but like I just knew there was so much more potential. There was so much more good he was going to be putting out into this world. And for those of you who don't know, not only did Kobe Bryant and his very young daughter, Gigi Bryant, pass in this fatal accident, there were 9 people on board, 2 of those being Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant, and no one survived the crash. There were 3 families involved, 3 families on board, one of whom was Gigi's teammate and her parents, and the pilot as well. And the only passengers as of right now who have been identified in this accident are Kobe and Gigi. The rest are unidentified. And this is just so tragic. I mean, they usually take helicopters everywhere. Kobe Bryant and his family live in Newport Beach, which is in Orange County, California. And they were flying to Thousand Oaks they were traveling to a basketball game. And this is when the helicopter they were riding in crashed and literally burst into flames in the hills above Calabasas, California. And like, as you guys see, I'm like still stuttering because it's just so hard to believe. And like, I still haven't really processed it. I feel like this is just not real. The LA Sheriff's Office says there were visibility issues, but the cause of the crash has not officially been determined, and they will still be further investigating this issue, which is why they have asked people in the surrounding area to make sure they stay clear off those roads so that investigators and police and everybody who's involved in the investigation can easily access the area of where the incident took place. And this is just so shocking to me. If you guys haven't seen, there's a video circling around. I found it on Twitter. I don't know if it's like posted on Instagram or wherever, but I know it was on Twitter. There were hikers and cyclists on that road in the Calabasas Mountains, and there were witnesses who saw this terrible incident and recorded it. I mean, they obviously didn't know that it was Kobe Bryant, but they saw, when I was reading the reports, these hikers heard a helicopter too close for comfort coming not really towards them, but they just saw that it was slowly lowering and lowering closer to the mountain. So they recorded it. And the video is just so appalling. Like, it really, I'm still shook. It looked straight out of a movie scene. If you have seen the video of their crash, then you know how shocking it is because it doesn't even look real. Like, so the helicopter's flying and something like falls, but you can't tell what it is. It's kind of pixelated in the video. So something falls out of the helicopter, and once that object flies out of the helicopter starts spinning so fast, and it crashes and literally bursts into flames, like explodes, and there's just so much fire and smoke. Like, even the people who were recording like gasped and started crying. Again, not knowing that it was Kobe Bryant and his daughter. And it's just so shocking. Like, it really struck me when I saw that video. Like, that's when real tears started coming out, because I was like, this is just so crazy. Unbelievable, heartbreaking. I cannot even believe it. Again, it doesn't look real. If you see the video, literally looks like it's out of a movie scene. And what is the most heartbreaking part for me is knowing what were Kobe's and Gigi's last moments together. You know, like their last moments in that helicopter, they're spinning and they're literally just falling to their deaths. And they all know that. Like, what were their last moments to each other? How was he comforting her? Could he even comfort her? Like, he probably couldn't even say like everything's going to be okay, or, you know, like, cause he probably knew like this is going to just end badly. Like, we're literally falling to our death. So just like those last moments together, Gigi and Kobe, like, breaks my heart. And that's what really gets me choked up just thinking about that. And Gigi, she's 13 and she was literally becoming the next like female Kobe Bryant. And, you know, their chemistry as father and daughter was so beautiful to watch. There was a video circling around Twitter also a couple months ago where Kobe Bryant took Gigi to a WNBA, a women's basketball game, and he was kind of giving her pointers and he was coaching her and like really showing her the game. And it was just there. What came to be a meme is now like we look on that video now and it's like something so beautiful to watch because they did have such a special connection with one another, and their love for the game of basketball is so just touching. And like the fact that they both left this world together, and out of all his daughters, she's the one who looks identical to him. Like she's a copy and paste of Kobe Bryant, and it's just so sad. And I cannot imagine what Vanessa Bryant and the rest of the family is going through. And even the family of the other 7 people who perished in this accident as well. Like, I just cannot wrap around my mind around what they're going through, their emotions, how they found out about the news. I read somewhere that Vanessa Bryant and the oldest sister, Natalia, they found out through social media. And I feel that's just the worst. That's one of like the cons of social media, is that they don't respect the families, you know, of the ones who've perished. It's like you have to find out through social media, like what happened to your loved one. So I'm going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about more of this incident.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the CEO and founder of Sober Recovery Center. If you're struggling with alcohol, meth, heroin, pills, we can help you. We treat you in a way that's going to help you want to stay and want to do it. Sometimes people think that there isn't any hope, and yet there is. We don't give up on people. That's what makes us different.
Call SOBA now and get the help you need at 866-547-6451.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. And I'm going to continue discussing, again, the tragic loss of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gigi Bryant. As I was saying in the previous segment, they experienced a fatal helicopter accident in Calabasas. And again, it's still so shocking. And I found out while I was at work at the LA Fit Expo. And another crazy thing too is I was in LA when this happened. And for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with LA, the convention center where I was at is right next, literally across the street from the Staples Center. And downtown was crazy. When I left the convention center, there was a memorial service at Staples Center right outside, and there were so many people walking, and I actually went to his memorial service. So I went there and everybody's wearing his jersey. People have flowers. So many people are crying. And for the amount of the huge crowd that I was in, everybody was so quiet. Like nobody was talking. All over LA, downtown LA, it was just like not billboards, but the buildings had Kobe's picture on it. Some were saying, "We love you, Kobe and Gigi." Another one said, "Mamba forever." And I was like taking pictures. And it was just I didn't even know what to feel at that moment, because it was like, okay, I was at this great event, and at this great event, I found out this terrible news, and like, I was just like a mix of emotions, and I still am. And it was just crazy for me to experience that in LA the day of his passing, at his home, his second home at Staples Center. Like, it just all hit me. It was just all so much. Like, I had to leave the memorial service because it was just getting, like, I was just getting too emotional. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I feel his presence there. And it was just crazy. It was just really, really crazy. And as I quickly mentioned in the previous segment, even, many sports fans and basketball fans admired his work on the court, but he was also very respected and very admired for his work off the court. And after Kobe Bryant's death this Sunday, his short film, his Oscar-winning short film, Dear Basketball, was super hard and difficult to watch online, but it is now viewable for free on the internet. Grammy Studios, the NBA stars multimedia production company, made the Academy Award-winning film Dear Basketball, now available for free this Monday afternoon on the dearbasketball.com website and on Vimeo. And if you guys haven't seen this short film, it's like probably like a 2-3 minute film. Dear Basketball is based on a poem that Kobe Bryant wrote in November of 2015 to announce his retirement. So it's a year before his retirement. And the poem was published by Kobe Bryant by the Players Tribune, which is a website that features first-person accounts written by pro athletes. And I know when that video first released in 2015, we all were sad, like, oh no, like, we obviously didn't want him to retire because he was a beast on the court. And again, he was just super respected. Like, he was a superstar. And now we have that Academy Award winning video to look back on and reflect. And oh my God, just like all the emotions, like all these waterworks are coming out. I watched the video and again, I just got teary eyed because like, he's just so inspiring in every aspect. And the NBA also has postponed the Lakers and Clippers game that was scheduled for Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So they postponed that. Obviously, the decision was made out of respect for the Lakers organization, which, they're deeply grieving the tragic loss of this Lakers legend. His daughter as well, Gianna, and the 7 other people who were involved in the helicopter crash. And like as I'm continuing to say, his post-basketball life makes him a legend on and off the court. Like, I respect him so much, and it's just such a tragedy. Like, I'm still at a loss for words. This is heartbreaking. He opened the Mamba Sports Academy training facility to help athletes improve and oversees a series of sports fantasy children's books because he says that he just loves telling stories and he loves handing those tools that he wished he had growing up. He loves handing those tools to the youth and, just inspiring them to be better. And I just really admired all of his work on and off the court. And this is even a setback for women's basketball. I mean, since his retirement in 2016, Kobe Bryant has been boosting and supporting women's basketball and the WNBA in general. From taking his daughters like Gigi to WNBA games to coaching his daughter in youth basketball. Kobe Bryant was setting the stage to become an invaluable contributor in an arena that needed support because, I mean, as we all know, just women's sports in general doesn't get too much spotlight. For one, they don't even get paid nearly as much or equivalent to men's sports. And I love that Kobe Bryant was, here's this powerful male figure, sports figure, who used his voice to lift, women's basketball and use his platform to shed light on them and be like, hey, these women need to be treated as equals to men's sports. And I love that he was instilling those amazing values, that Mamba mentality down to his daughter as well and to Gigi. And that's why it's like, just this whole story is so twisted because Gigi was literally, she had so much potential. Like, she was just starting to peak in women's basketball, and the WNBA was starting to look at her as well. She had amazing highlights. I mean, she was truly going to be carrying out the legacy of Kobe Bryant. And I love to, I mean, obviously now with this tragedy loss, there's so many interviews, past interviews that Kobe Bryant has done that are resurfacing to kind of highlight what a wonderful person he has been or has been in the 41 years of his life. And one of those being, someone asked him, or he was talking on the show about how people always go to him like, man, you need a boy, like you need to have a son to carry out your legacy. And how and Kobe Bryant explained, like, you know, I got Gigi, like Gigi's got this, she's got it down, she's going to be the one carrying out my legacy, you know, in terms of basketball. He has 4 daughters, and another just so heartbreaking thing is that he just had a baby with Vanessa Bryant like less than a year ago. I think the youngest one, Kobe Bryant, she's 6 or 7 months, and now she's going to have to grow up not really knowing her father nor her sister. And they also have like a 4-year-old baby girl and Natalia. So it's just so heartbreaking. Like, it truly is. Again, my heart is so heavy talking about this. And even more because I experienced, like, I was in LA when I got the news. I was right next to the Staples Center. I went to the memorial service. So it all just felt very real for me and raw. And my heart just goes out to everybody who's affected by this tragic loss, family members, friends of Kobe Bryant, and the other 2 families also involved. I mean, it's just really so, so sad. All over Instagram, all over social media, every post that I see, I'm scrolling and it's just like Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant. And my boyfriend's a diehard Lakers fan, but more a Kobe fan. Same with my uncle. And I can't even imagine also, like, if that was like Kobe Bryant was, you know, a lot of people's favorite player, especially athletes. Like, a lot of athletes looked up to him, and like the people that he mentored really without him even knowing. And it's just such a tragedy. Like, it truly, truly is. And again, I just want to say, I want to dedicate this whole episode to him, to Kobe Bryant. May he rest in peace and rest in paradise, as well as his daughter. And I'm going to cut into another quick break. When we come back, I will be talking about this year's 2020 Grammys.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. That was a much needed break on my end. That was a lot of heavy stuff that I was talking about, and I literally felt like I was going to get choked up, and I'm like, I'm not about to start crying on this podcast, all right? I know you guys don't want to hear me chillando, aka cry. Chillando means like cry in Spanish, but yeah, I'm about to do that to you guys. I want to move on to a more celebratory note, a happier note, and I want to talk about this year's 2020 Grammys, which again, this was also just really crazy for me because I was at the convention center. Staples Center is right next to me. Again, that was Kobe Bryant's home, but it was also the day that he passed. It was also the day of the Grammys, and the Grammys was held at the Staples Center. So there was chaos in downtown, all right? And it was even crazier that I got to experience that. By the way, I saw Diddy, which is crazy. I saw Diddy at Staples Center yesterday. It was Grammy. So it's like, it was really a lot of things happening yesterday in LA. And like I just said, so this year's 62nd Grammy Award show took place this past Sunday, yesterday at Staples Center in LA. And I want to first share with y'all like some of my favorite moments, most memorable moments of the Grammys, and then I'll move on to some of the winners, the recipients of the night. And I want to start off with Lizzo. So Lizzo, she opened the show with a performance for her two songs, 'Cause I Love You and Truth Hurts. And let me just say, this was my first time ever watching Lizzo perform live, and I loved every single second of it. I was entertained from start to finish. Like, she's truly unique and unapologetically herself, and I respect her so much for that. So she first comes out wearing a long black sparkly gown. She looks very elegant. She's center stage, and she first starts off saying, "Tonight is for you, Kobe." And then she performs her song, 'Cause I Love You. And she does like and then she does an amazingly fast outfit change. So after she's done performing that first song, ballerinas in glow in the dark outfits come out. Mind you, this was like probably a 20-second intermission. The lights shut down. The ballerinas come out in their glow in the dark outfits. 20 seconds, the lights turn on, and Lizzo is in a completely different outfit. She changes into this like sparkly jumpsuit. But I was like, I mean, she probably was wearing it underneath the gown, but it was super amazingly fast how quick she changed. I was like, whoa. I was caught off guard. And my favorite part of her performance that I actually like cackled and laughed out loud was, oh my God, you guys have to see the video. So she's like in the middle of performing Truth Hurts. A flute, okay? A flute comes down from the middle of nowhere. It came out from the blue, comes down from the ceiling. She grabs it and she starts playing the flute, which by the way, she's like so talented with that instrument. She starts playing that flute, and in the middle of her, she like stops and she goes and she yells, "Period." And for those of you who don't understand like what that is, like period is almost like a statement now. It's like this thing that's going around social media. It originated from City Girls. They're this rap duo from Miami. And they're always saying like period, you know, and you say it with attitude after you're saying something. Like, I'm going to give y'all an example. So say you're talking to somebody and you're trying to make a point, and okay, here we go. Two girls talking. One girl dumps or breaks up with her boyfriend, and she rants about how she's going to live her best life after him. And then she goes, period. Like, that's kind of like, you know, period. Like, what it says, like ending statement, made my point, prove it. So that's what period means. And I just thought it was so funny how Lizzo yells that in the middle of her performance while she's playing the flute. She like takes a breath. She's like, period, like out of nowhere. And again, she's unapologetically herself, and you can't hate her for that, even though people do hate her for that. And I was amazed. She's an amazing performer with a vocal range, instrumentally talented, and all. I love her energy, and people cannot hate on her. A lot of people hate on her for her size, but she got stamina, okay? To be performing, she puts on like 1 hour shows, and to be dancing and to have that vocal range and to have that presence on stage, that takes a lot of stamina and a lot of work. So I applaud Lizzo. I love that she opened the Grammys. She's just killing it. She's peaking right now. I'm living for Lizzo. And one other one of my favorite moments of the Grammys was also a performance by Alicia Keys and Bad Boys 2 Men. They also performed after Lizzo, and they opened the show in the most precious and thoughtful way. They also dedicated their performance to Kobe Bryant, and their performance was definitely more somber, not as high energy as Lizzo. And they definitely got their message across. Their message was on point. Their singing was on point. And it sounded beautiful, but it was also just so sad. There were people crying when the camera panned to some of the audience members. There was definitely people who got teary-eyed. I definitely got teary-eyed watching the video. I had to like pause for a second because, okay, let me collect myself before I continue watching the video. But it was definitely more of a somber attitude. So it was definitely sad. Like, just, it almost felt like there was just like a dark cloud hovering over the Grammys. Cause like, hey, here they are. They're in Staples Center in LA the day Kobe Bryant dies, and in his home, in his basketball home. So there was definitely like, it's like you're happy, but you can't be too happy because it's like, something just tragic just happened. So it was definitely just like a not weird, but just somber, dark cloud hovering over the Grammys. And another one of my favorite moment of mine from the Grammys, was Billy Porter's outfit, but more specifically his hat. And if you guys haven't seen, I want you to stop this, go watch, or go on Twitter, or go on Google, type in Billy Porter Grammys outfit so you understand what I'm talking about, because his outfit was everything. I named him best dressed for this year's 2020 Grammy Awards. His hat inspired a whole lot of memes. So he arrived on the Grammys red carpet wearing a hat, a sparkled blue hat that matched his sparkly blue outfit. Okay. And this hat at first looked to feature like a standard like fringe look, but it turned out to be a motorized curtain. Okay. So imagine a blue sparkly hat. Like, I don't even know what those hats are called. They're kind of like in right now. They're kind of like long. No, I'm not describing it well. You guys are probably saying like, what are you talking about? But there's a fringe all along the hat, and it literally opens up, and he opened the curtain for the cameras, and then he would close it when it's done. And I know I'm probably not describing it as well as I could be, so that's what I'm saying. Google it right now, Billy Porter Grammys outfit, and you'll know what I'm talking about and get a good laugh, because it was just iconic, that outfit. So funny. Another one of the most memorable moments of the Grammys was Ariana Grande's massive dress also. Like, she was literally swimming in that dress, okay? It was funny because I saw this meme on Twitter where it's a picture of the Grammys, like all the audience members, and you can easily spot Ariana Grande in the crowd, and it goes, Ariana Grande taking up 50% of the seats, because that's how huge her dress was. It was like massive. Definitely the center of attention at the Grammys. She was giving me like Cinderella Disney princess vibes. That's what I got when I was looking at pictures of her at the Grammys. But she looked gorgeous for sure, but she definitely was giving me like Cinderella vibes, and she was working the red carpet. So yeah, those are definitely my most favorite memorable moments. And if you watch the Grammys, I'm sure those were also your favorites. So it was Lizzo's opening performance. It was Alicia Keys and Bad Boys 2 Men tribute to Kobe Bryant. And it was Billy Porter's outfit and Ariana Grande's outfit as well. And again, I'm going to cut into another break. And when I come back, I'm going to dive into some of the winners of this year's 2020 Grammy Awards.
Golden State Media Concepts bring you Book Review Podcast, a haven for bookworms of all ages and the widest genres, from mystery to memoirs, romance to comedy, fantasy to sci-fi. If you love to read, this is the podcast for you. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Book Review Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Entertainment Podcast. And let's get back to the program here. And I want to share with you guys now some of the winners of this year's 2020 Grammy Awards shows. There were over 84 categories. I will absolutely not go through every single one because the list is endless. They truly award everybody in every genre. Contemporary, jazz, gospel, you name it, they got it. They got an award. So I'm just going to pull kind of more of the mainstream awards, what was trending on Twitter, what was making the headlines. So that's really what I'm going to be covering. And I'm going to start with this first one. So Record of the Year was awarded to 18-year-old young star Billie Eilish for her record, Bad Guy. This is beating Lizzo, Lil Nas X, Ariana Grande, Her, Khalid, Post Malone, and Sway Lee. So Record of the Year, Billie Eilish. This happens to be one of the, so there's 4 top categories at the Grammys. Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist. Those are like the top 4 main categories. And guess what? Your girl, young Billie Eilish, won all 4 categories, you guys. Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Best New Artist. All won, swept by Billie Eilish, which is crazy. So she made history by, for one, dethroning Taylor Swift as the youngest Album of the Year winner at the Grammys. But not only that, Billie Eilish also made history. No one since Christopher Cross in 1981 has swept all 4 major categories in the same year. And since 1981, 2020, Billie Eilish now holds the crown for that. So she was definitely the biggest winner of the night. And to be 18 and to win all 4 major categories, I mean, that's huge. So major congratulations to Billie Eilish. That's amazing to be, to be making history in that way and for winning all 4 major categories in one night. So congratulations to Billie Eilish if you listen to this. And now moving on to Best Pop Solo Performance. This was awarded to Lizzo for Truth Hurts. After watching her opening performance for this year's Grammys, I'm not surprised she took home this award for Best Pop Performance because that woman could definitely give a show. She's so entertaining. And for Best Pop Duo Group Performance, this was won by Lil Nas X featuring Billy Ray Cyrus for their hit single, Old Town Road, the remix. Now, I feel like Jonas Brothers should have won this. Not to say that Lil Nas X is a bad performer, but I'm just a fan of the Jonas Brothers. Definitely if you grew up in my generation, like High School Musical, Camp Rock phase, you feel me? Like we grew up watching the Jonas Brothers and they were like the it guys. So that was just, again, probably people might disagree with me, but I just love the Jonas Brothers and I think they should have won. Okay. And for Best Pop Vocal Album, Billie Eilish for her album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? So she took home the most awards for the Grammys. Not only did she win all 4 major categories, but she took home 5 Grammys last night. Amazing. Really is. And for Best Alternative Music Album, this was won by Vampire Weekend for their album, Father of the Bride. Best R&B Performance, won by Anderson .Paak featuring Andre 3000 for their performance for Come Home. Best R&B Song, kind of like songwriter they give it to. This one was surprising for me. This kind of shocked me a little bit. This was given to PJ Morton for his song Say So. Chris Brown should have won this, okay? Let me just say that. Chris Brown's song, No Guidance, was nominated for this specific category as well for Best R&B Song. Chris Brown did not win. He actually didn't win any Grammy last night, but I think for this specific song, he definitely should have won. When No Guidance came out last summer, that was like the it song for 2019. That was the summer anthem, and it was playing everywhere, in clubs, everywhere. The radio, they still do. It's a hit song, so I'm surprised that it took it home for that category. And for Best R&B Album, it was won by Anderson .Paak for his album Ventura. This is him beating BJ the Chicago Kid, LMI, Lucky Day, and PJ Morton. I loved LMI's album. I think she should have won. I'm like here always, like I said, no one's ever going to be happy with the results, including myself. Now this one I loved. For Best Rap Performance, this was won by Icon Nipsey Hussle featuring Roddy Ricch and Hit Boy for their song Racks in the Middle. This was also up against The Baby, Cardi B, J. Cole, and others. Nipsey Hussle won two posthumous awards. So he won Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song with DJ Khaled and John Legend for their song Higher. So it was like a lot of there's been a lot of tragedies. I mean, last year we lost Nipsey Hussle. Again, I remember vividly where I was. It was like a chill Sunday. I was chilling at home and I got the news. I saw it on Twitter. And then Kobe Bryant's, yesterday. So at the end of their performance, DJ Khaled and John Legend performed Higher at the Grammys. And that the Grammys was actually supposed to pay tribute to Nipsey Hussle, but they also ended up adding and ending the performance with a tribute to Kobe. So they had, a picture of Nipsey Hussle and alongside him, Kobe. And that was also one of my favorite moments and one of my most touching, heartfelt moments, seeing two legends, two icons, two icons gone too soon. It was a really crazy, really emotional night for everybody in that arena at Staples Center. And for Best Rap Album, it was given to Tyler, the Creator, for his album Igor. I really hope I'm saying that right. Igor, I-G-O-R. This is his first Grammy win. So congratulations, Tyler, the Creator. I believe this was a tough category because I think all of the nominated albums in this specific category had a chance of winning. 21 Savage was nominated, Meek Mill for his album Championships, Dreamville for his album and Revenge of the Dreamers 3. All of them were great. I'm a fan of all three projects. So I think any of these I would have been pleased with if they would have won. It's been a pretty good year for rap music, I would say. And for Best Rap Song, it was awarded to 21 Savage featuring J. Cole for their hit single, A Lot. I love that song. And for Best Reggae Album, I love reggae. Best Reggae Album was awarded to Coffee for his album Rapture. I wonder if there's an award show where they just dedicate it just to reggae, Afrobeat music. I feel like there's not any award show dedicated to that specific genre. I mean, we have the Soul Train Awards, which dedicates it to mainly R&B, soul music. I cannot speak. Oh my goodness. Soul music and gospel music. And then we have, the BET Awards and all these other genres kind of have their own thing, even for country. I feel like reggae, Afrobeat music doesn't really, and I would love to see if one day someone creates an award show for them because I'm a fan of that genre of music. I love island vibes. So I'm glad that they were also included for the Grammys. And for Best Music Film, of course, I'm not even questioning this. I'm not even surprised by the recipient of this award. It's our girl, the Queen Bee, Beyonce, for the film Homecoming on Netflix. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. And for Best Music Video, this is the very last award I will be sharing with you guys. Best music video was given to Lil Nas X featuring Billy Ray Cyrus for, again, their hit single Old Town Road remix. So a lot of great wins. Billie Eilish definitely came up with the big W for the night with 5 total Grammy wins. And out of those 5, 4 of them being out of the major categories. And as I said earlier, though the night had an unexpected dark cloud overhead with the recent news of basketball legend Kobe Bryant's passing, Alicia Keys, she was the host. Alicia Keys and many other performers came through with both respectful tributes and still celebratory vibes. His jerseys, numbers 8 and 24, were illuminated all night long in the Staples Center. And I know his presence was definitely felt in that arena, especially since the Grammy Awards did take place in Kobe's second home, Staples Center. He really built that. That's what we're saying. Like, we're in here celebrating music in the house where Kobe built, made memories. Like, oh my goodness. So again, I dedicate this entire episode to Kobe Bryant, to his family, to Gigi Bryant. My heart, my prayers, everything going out to those affected by this tragedy, by this loss. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode. If you liked what I had to cover today, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share with your loved ones, and stay tuned for next week's episode here at GSMC Entertainment Podcast.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.